What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Newcastle 2, Tottenham 2, and nobody gave Spurs a chance before this game. We both predicted 3-1 losses. Everyone was saying 4s, 5s, 6s. When you saw the starting lineup without Mickey van de Ven there, you're like even fearing even worst of the worst. You're like thinking, what is going to happen in this game? And you know what? A lot of the general play was a lot of the same frustrations which we've been having all season. I think Newcastle, you got to say they were probably the better team on the day. Well, most definitely the better team on the day. But it was a snatch and grab point at the end of the day. But I think the biggest talking point is always going to be that penalty, because the game finishes 2-2. Newcastle get a penalty to go 2-1 up right at the death, and you're thinking, just in my opinion, that was not a penalty. And I think that should be and is going to be the biggest talking point of the game, because it's a massive turning point in the game. Obviously, Spurs equalise through Cuti, Romero, and then they go up the other end in the latter stage of the game. And Bentancur does have his arm around him, but I feel like Dan Burn is like kind of leaning into him. And I think it's just a coming together. I think Bentancur is just trying to stand his ground. I don't think the referee, the VAR should be instructing the referee to go and have a look at that. I think it's an absolute disgrace of a decision, to be honest. And you know what? If that doesn't happen, maybe Spurs go and win this game, which is crazy to think about because Newcastle were the better team on the day. Yeah,
I think for me, the penalty is a disgrace that VAR got involved. How many times do we see that kind of thing happen in the box and it just gets left to the referee on the pitch and it goes unpunished? I think, yes, don't get me wrong, Bentancur has his arm around him, but it's just a bit of 6-1, half dozen the other. Burn, they're both challenging with each other. Bentancur maybe a bit overzealous, but I don't think it's any need for VAR to get involved in that. I don't think Bentancur comes out with a lot of credit either, because I do think he's running the risk, isn't he? I think he's risking it with his actions. But
he gives the referee a decision to make.
But VAR, look, you should stick with the on-field decision. It doesn't meet the threshold of a VAR penalty. I think it's a bit of a disgrace of it, because if VAR are calling that, I think every corner they're going to be calling something. So I just hate it. They're nitpicking, they're deciding this one is, and then the other ones they ignore. Yeah,
but I'm looking at it. To me, it looked like more of a foul from Burn on Bentancur than the other way. Like, seriously, he's leaning into him. He's like, Burn has also got his hands all over Bentancur, by the way. It wasn't just one way that Bentancur had a one arm round Burn. I think it's just a bit of a disgrace of a decision. But
it's a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, in terms of the way Spurs played, it was more of the same in the first half, asking Kudus to do God's work. On the other side, Destiny Udogie, no options when he's driving up the pitch, and it was just a laboured watch, just seeing Spurs not even try, just literally just hit and hope and hoping for the best in terms of attacking situations. We had 2 shots on target today, and both of them, Cuti, Romero, and both of them end up in the back of the net. So how's that for luck? You know what I mean? So we really did snatch and grab this. But there was like one period in the game for 10 minutes where we looked decent. But yeah, it was too few and far between. I didn't really get the substitutions from Thomas Frank either, taking off our kind of best players on the day, and Lucas Bergvall, Randall Kolo Muani, 2 of the players that were really fighting for the cause and really trying to drive the team forward. But look, we end with a point, and it's better than what we could have hoped for before the game.
Yeah, I think 2-2 at St James's, you're always going to take that. It's always a good result. I think we definitely would have taken it before the game. I think, look, away from home, you're not always going to put in the perfect performance. It's always going to be difficult. You know, the home team, its onus is on them to attack. And I think Newcastle, from a lot of that game, were the ones in the ascendancy. They were the ones on top of us. They were putting us under pressure. And definitely that second half, they started to create a lot more chances. I think first half was a bit more, they were on top, but they hit the post. But other than that, they didn't really create too many clear-cut opportunities. And 0-0. I think Newcastle will be disappointed just because they were so dominant without really creating so many chances. But yeah, 0-0 at half-time was probably fair in terms of, did Newcastle deserve to be ahead when they didn't create the chances with their dominance? But second half, that goal was coming. You could see it all day long. Did we even have a shot before they scored their first goal?
Our only shots were our goals.
So we had a couple of openings and corners and stuff like that, but it was very much, waiting till they scored until we started to really force the issue. We then got the goal out, and I think Cuti Romero decided pretty much for the last 20 minutes he's going to be a striker, and maybe he should maybe he should be our starting striker, because the way he took both goals, fantastic, and obviously great header for the first one. Kudus with another assist. That's why he's 5th of the season. So great assist, great diving header at the near post from Romero, kind of out of nothing. And then the penalty happened, just set us back a bit. I think we were in the ascendancy at that point. We got the goal, we made the subs, also like we had that momentum. And it's so annoying to have that momentum, basically, to have the wind taken out of our sails with that penalty going against us. That was hugely frustrating, the timing as well. But credit to the team, didn't give up, found a moment, kept going forward, got a corner. And Romero pulls a rabbit out of the hat, really. I know as he shinned it, he went for an overhead kick, completely miscued the connection, but it somehow bobbled its way into the back of the net, and we end up with a draw. As you say, I wouldn't say I watched this game thinking, wow, we're back on track, or wow, this was like a convincing performance, or this is a performance to convince fans that this manager still has a future here. But, as you say, we would have taken a draw before the game. A draw away from Newcastle is a good result. I think what I would say is, if we hadn't been so bad this season, there would probably be more positives to take away from this game. But the fact that this season has gone how it is, especially at home, with the amount of chances we're creating and how lackluster we look, it's hard to look at this game and think and take the positives away, because we're still creating very little. We're still struggling to break teams down. We're still struggling to get forward. But at the end of the day, you do expect that in Newcastle. You do expect to be under the cosh. So it's not a surprise. But again, you don't look at this game thinking, okay, now we're going in the right direction.
Yeah, but if you actually just look at this game in isolation and forget about everything else that's happened this season, like we'll probably be thinking about it more positively than we are now. 100%. We always get shat on at St James's Park, and we've had a decision go against us, and that happens at the best of times to many teams at St James's Park. To be honest, I feel like that happens a lot throughout the course of the season. But on another day, like I said, if you don't take into account what's happened to us early in the season, you'd probably say it's a hard fought point at St James's Park.
Yeah.
Because never say die attitude. We fought back twice after going 1-0 down, 2-1 down, and we go 1-0 down on the 70th minute. Fought back, got that goal, a penalty that should have been given, and we still fight back and get that other goal. So, if you are just looking at this game in isolation, you'd probably be more happy with it, wouldn't you?
I'm going to be happy with the result. I think the performance was still a lot to be desired, but the result was brilliant. I don't know if we deserved a point, but we got a point. We a bit of a snatch and grab.
See, it's not the away games that we've had an issue with, though, because in the away games, you have to fight like this. You're not going to be on top a lot of the game, particularly at St James's Park, and you're going to be under the cosh, and it's going to be hard to play your stuff. It's the home form, which is the worrying thing.
We can accept playing like this away.
Exactly, particularly if you get a point like that.
Yeah.
So, look, at half time, I know it wasn't great, but I was kind of content. It was 0-0. We weren't coming under too much pressure. I thought we limited them well, and we ended the first half all right. We were growing into the game, I thought, but then Newcastle just took complete control, and it felt like for basically 25 minutes a goal was coming, and it eventually came with some proper quality from Bruno Guimaraes. But again, it's a goal conceded at the edge of the box, That's now Newcastle, Arsenal, Fulham. How many goals are we going to keep conceding from the edge of the box? Thomas Frank goes on about high XG chances, low XG chances, and, they can take shots from the edge of the area because they're low XG chances, but we can't keep giving away goals like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he says he doesn't, I don't know, he doesn't say it, but, he apparently doesn't value, chances from the edge of the box. Well, at the moment, we're coming against quality, which is basically just picking us off and being able to thrive. And there was a great goal from Bruno, but he was so free on the edge of the box. The cross came in, it deflected out to him, and there's no one near him, and he's just able to pick his spot. Easy does it under no pressure, and he has the quality to score that goal. I think he did change the game for the better for them in that second half. I thought he was brilliant when he came on. Bruno Guimaraes, he was a shining light. He might even be man of the match, to be honest. Overall, because I thought he was brilliant when he came on second half, but. Yeah, I think it's going to buy him time because it's a good result. 2-2 away at Newcastle. You can't really complain about that scoreline. I think that's something that I think we all would have taken before the game. Even before the season, you take that result away at St James's Park. It's always a tough place to go. I think they had won their last 6 games.
Look, we've lost every game there since the one that we were talking about before the game. Under Nuno, we won 3-2. We've lost every single game there. So we've taken away a point. So look, I'm happy with the result. We just need to back this result up next week, Brentford at home. We need to see a very positive performance.
But the thing is, based on what you hear, the question is based on what you saw today. Do you see things improving from how we want them to improve on Saturday?
Not particularly, but at least I saw fight in the performance today. At least we had that kind of never say die attitude. We kept going, and we took a point after going a goal down each time. So look, I'm fairly happy because we have got the point. If we would have lost, obviously, I think it does keep that conversation going, but.
Like without a miskicked overhead kick, we do lose.
Yeah, it's true, but also without a terrible penalty decision, we might not have lost as well.
Okay, but we can't also rely on Romero going up front every game.
Yeah, that's also true. Look, 100%, it's not good enough from what we're seeing from general play, and there's not much to take from it from aesthetics or the way we play our football and trying to break teams down.
Just how good a team we are.
We're not a good team right now. That's the reality. We're not a good team right now, and we need to be managed in a better way, and we need to be able to attack teams in a better way and have more plans about us than try and get Cuti to take it around their whole team or Destiny Udogie to bulldoze his way through the whole team.
So Romero to get a brace.
Yeah, Romero's getting a brace, Van de Ven's getting a brace. You know what I mean? It's just madness what's going on. But if we take a point here and we build on that and we actually show a positive performance at Brentford, then you're looking back at that Newcastle game saying, look, that was all right. You
have to build on it, and you don't. But it's not about building on it in terms of the result. You need to start showing what we're complaining 100%. About. We need to start attacking more. We saw even today. When we do pick our moments to go forward and we do attack, we can look dangerous. And I thought there were times where Newcastle were kind of struggling at times to contain us, and we were looking like we could score, but it was just so few and far between. Barely got in their half for a lot of that game, and that is something that just is going to need to change. I understand going to St James is always difficult, and even at the best of times, even if we're a very good team, look at Man City going there and losing not so long ago. Like even Arsenal had a needed 90th minute winner to win there, so it's not an easy place to go whatsoever. I'm not expecting us to go there and win 3-0. I'm not even going there expecting us to be the better team, but all I'm saying is, based off the context of the season, what we've been seeing, I wouldn't necessarily say watching what I've seen today was like, okay, I saw something today which we haven't seen. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a massive difference. It was a difference maybe from the Arsenal and Chelsea games, but it wasn't like a massive departure from on the ball of what we've been seeing so far this season. So there's still no improvement there, which has got to be a concern.
Yeah, look, it was very sloppy at times as well from our players on the ball, particularly playing out the back. I thought there were sloppy moments from everyone. I thought Bentancur, there were some good moments.
I don't know how we played 90 minutes.
Yeah, I don't understand. There were a couple of good moments in there, like a few passes in there. But yeah, he was really sloppy throughout and a bit weak in the challenge, particularly in the first half. And I just don't get. Yeah, I don't get how he played 90 minutes. And he gave the penalty away. So, look, we move. We got a point. This is our best result there since they've got all the money, since they've turned into a decent side under Eddie Howe. It's our best result there. So you've got to give the team some sort of credit for going there and taking away a point. But it's all on the next game now. And if we win the next game and we look a bit better and we can start to break down Brentford, then things might start to look a bit better. But as of now, the same problems still arise.
In terms of Frank looking identical to Nuno, when was the last time we beat Newcastle and St James's?
We didn't beat him today, but the last time was Nuno.
Nuno, there you go. So,
who was their man? Who was Newcastle's manager then?
Steve Bruce.
Yeah. Steve Bruce. But we had a good run against Newcastle back then. We were winning at St James's Park quite regularly. It's ever since Eddie Howe's come in and they've got a decent team that we've been getting battered there. So this is actually our first point there since that's the case.
Well, this is the first one we've got against Eddie Howe at St James's Park.
Yeah.
So look, I am happy with the point. I'm not complaining about the point, but at the end of the day, I don't think that result is fooling me into thinking that it means much when I saw what I saw. It's not like we deserved the point. If we came away and we were at least equal or a better team and got a really credible point in that way, I'd be much happier. But right now, it's like we scammed the point, great, but it was lucky, let's be honest. We didn't really deserve a point. We were the second best throughout most of that game. We still struggled to create chances. Newcastle were the ones on top and Vicario was a much busier keeper. We still have the same problems in build-up. We have the same problems going forward. So it doesn't my point is, it doesn't give me confidence that any of these problems that we've been complaining about before today have been anywhere near there's been no steps to rectify them based on today.
Yeah. Yeah, they've just beaten Man City there as well. They've been brilliant at St James's all season. So I don't think a point is to be sniffed at. But I agree with you. You know, we weren't the better team. But what do good teams do? They play poorly and take something from the game.
Good teams also play well at some point. We just don't do that.
No, I'm joking, man. But yeah, look, it's all on the next game now. We need to see something better at Brentford. But a point of Newcastle probably... he gets credit in the bank for it.
It's not every day you see a last-minute Cuti Romero overhead kick equaliser. So you got to enjoy those moments.
Yeah, savour it, mate.
Saviour.
El Capitano pulls us through today and grabs us a point by the skin of our teeth.
And I guess it does buy Frank a bit more time, the fact he got a point. Look, I don't think he was getting sacked anyway tonight, but I guess if it would have been a battering or a drubbing tonight, then I guess the pressure piles on. But then again, if we fail to beat Brentford or lose to Brentford, the pressure's going to be right back there.
Absolutely. We cannot carry on this home form. We cannot. It's just not possible. So
especially against Brentford. That'll be just highly embarrassing if he loses to the manager who replaced him.
Yeah. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But as of today, I'm content with that, taking a point from Newcastle. I know the performance weren't great and Newcastle were the better side, but we snatched and grabbed the point, and Cuti Romero has got it for us by the skin of our teeth. So that is your instant match reaction. Spurs have drawn 2-2 with Newcastle. It's now